Hello and welcome to this week's episode of a Thinking Point podcast. I'm your host, Cesar Perez, with
Abby, or at abbynormal.mua on Instagram.
I appreciate you coming by. Making the trip over. It means a lot.
Of course. Had to be here. My first podcast interview.
Yeah, you were telling me before that this is the first time you've ever been interviewed for something. Mm-hmm. I thought that for Halloween it'd be perfect.
Yeah,
This is a perfect you know what I'm saying, to kind of go with the month.
For sure.
So go ahead and tell the people a little bit how you got started and your work and a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So I'm Abnormal MUA. I'm an SFX artist based in Houston, Texas, and I originally got started by offering to do makeup while in film school. Every film set needs a makeup artist, and I knew I could do it, so I just kind of built that portfolio while also getting my degree. I graduated with a film degree from Sam Houston State, and just continued to freelance after graduation.
Okay.
So that's how I just continued to work in the Houston and Austin area as an SFX artist. Mm-hmm. I took a couple classes at the MUA project in downtown Houston, made some really good connections there, and that's just kind of how it led me here today.
Hell yeah. I was gonna say, how was it being on how is it being on sets, and is the makeup demands usually just kind of making sure everyone kind of is good for lighting, or how is that?
It just depends what the directors or producers are looking for, or the filmmaker. I've done SFX mainly, but I can also do just regular film makeup, glam makeup, whether it's just making someone's skin tone even or turning them into an alien. Yeah, I kind of just go in between that. It's just whatever they're looking for, I like to make their vision a reality.
Yeah, and I was going through your page and I was like, wow, some of this is pretty incredible. Did you have any makeup artists that you were a fan of beforehand, before going into that kind of career? Like Tom Savini or anything like that, any kind of makeup people?
I've always been a fan of classic horror, The Black Lagoon or the original Wolf movie or Dracula. Okay. That's my favorite. I always loved classic horror. An SFX artist that I really look up to right now is Melina Stearns. She does a lot of SFX makeup for celebrities in the Hollywood area. She did Doja Cat's cat makeup for and the recent one with SZA where she's a bug, she did her too.
That was great. Oh, for the hot ones?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
She's amazing. I love her work. Every time I see something that just looks so seamless on a bigger celebrity, like a musician, I'm like, I bet you she's on it, and she always is.
Hell yeah, dude. That's pretty cool. I was gonna say I'm glad that it's kind of making a comeback, because I feel for a while it was all CGI, digital stuff. But there is something tangible with practical effects. Mm-hmm. Man, I was gonna ask you about. So were you born in Houston?
I was not. I was born in Fort Myers, Florida.
Ah, Florida girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I grew up in Florida for a little bit, and then I lived in Savannah, Georgia, and then I've lived around the Houston area, the Matagorda area, South Houston, and now I'm just kind of around in the Houston area.
What kind of impression do we give off as Houstonians?
I love Houston.
Yeah? Houston
has a great food scene. It's super diverse. I meet all sorts of people. I've had a really good time in Houston.
Nah, for sure. I was telling my brother, because he's a voice actor. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of he's been really into just every weekend or every other day, just kind of putting in work on doing stuff on Fiverr that people pay him to do, and he'll kind of read off something. Mm-hmm. So he's been real locked in, but I'm like, man, we should go out more and go shopping, this and that, and going to a place like the gallery, just see so many different kind of cultures, different kind of races, different kind of people, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? It just feels like a true melting pot of different people just interacting with each other. How's Florida? I was gonna say, I've never been to Florida at all. I've heard good things and I've heard crazy things.
Yeah. They call it God's graveyard because there's so many old people there. It's a joke.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But I haven't been there since 2011.
Oh damn, okay.
So I'm sure things have changed, but I do miss the beaches for sure.
That's what I'm saying. We don't really got no good beaches over here, to be honest with you.
No, we don't.
We got Galveston and I feel we have better lakes maybe. Like there's some like decent lakes here that aren't too bad, like Lake Livingston. I'm trying to think of another one, but yeah, no, the beaches are just not it. When I went to California, I was like, damn, this is like a stark contrast from like Galveston, like completely different. I was like, it's wild.
I mean, I guess there's SBI or South Padre, but
Oh yes, okay.
I don't know. I feel like that's just, I would just put that in with like Mexico. Like Mexico has such beautiful beaches. Like,
Nah, for sure.
they can have that one.
I'm trying to think of the one that's like by Austin. I forgot the area's name though. It's like a little outside of Austin. I just can't think of the name. It's like a big like area that like a lot of college people go to for like beaches and stuff like that. I just can't think of the name. I don't know if you know the rap group, but Brockhampton. They have like, I think their origins are from there, but I just can't remember the name. Damn. Oh man. So I was gonna say we know each other kind of through the kiddos.
Yeah,
which are like
yeah.
our main like connection through each other. I also think you know Michael. His Instagram's name is like Mikester Prime. I don't know his last name at all. Like Michael Lucio, I think.
Maybe.
I can't remember. But I think you had done the makeup. I don't know for him, but definitely the kiddos though.
The kid, yeah. I did their last Halloween show. I made them into lizards. That was really fun. Yeah.
How did you get connected with them?
So I got connected with the kiddos through my friend Joe at Retro Angel Dollhouse.
Shout out.
Shout out to Joe. She's a photographer in Houston, and I worked on one of her photo shoots, and then they were some of the models for a horror shoot where I turned them into like the concept was the one woman show, and they're looking at this lady, and she's very pretty, and she like claws her eyes out, so I did like their hollowed eyes.
Ooh, that sounds brutal. That sounds pretty brutal. I was gonna say, are you a big? I know you mentioned you like classical horror. Are you a big like? Do you keep up with any of the horror movies that are coming out nowadays?
I should keep up with it more, but I'm definitely a horror fan. My favorite director, a horror style movie are definitely like Ari Aster's films.
Oh
like
man, nice.
Hereditary, Midsommar. I still need to see Beau's Afraid. That's on me.
I wanted to ask you about that so bad. I'm conflicted on it. I'm conflicted on it because I love the creativity, and I love Joaquin Phoenix is crazy in it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. As a story, I just like. You know, it low-key reminds me of, like, the second Joker that we were talking about earlier, like, off-camera. Because at the end of it, I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to take with this. Like, walking out of the... Well, we saw it at my place, but I was just like, I don't know how I feel about, like, the ending at all, you know? But there's, like, definitely, like, the creativity is off the charts. Script is crazy. And the performances are really good, but I'm just like, damn, I don't know. There's something that, like, didn't click with me this time. I don't know if I need to rewatch it or what, but it's long as hell. It's, like, 2.5 hours, I think. So I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, no, that's something that's... I'd love Ari Aster. He's really good. Also, Robert Eggers, I think. He does, like, The Witch. He did the Lighthouse, I think. And he did The Northman, which is really, really good. And I think he's doing... Is it Nosferatu?
Oh, the
new
remake.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Starring, like, Florence Pugh, I think. It looks pretty crazy. Oh, no, starring, like, Lily Rose Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter.
Oh, okay.
So the trailer looks pretty crazy. I'm excited.
I'll have to see that one. I need to get more updated with the horror movies.
I'm the same way, honestly. Last year I've been trying to, like... Last year on my channel, I was trying to do, like, more horror movie, like, reviews. But I just ended up doing, like, stuff that was, like, not... the typical horror. Like I did like Infinity Pool, but that wasn't really like a horror movie. It was more like if you're running like Black Mirror or some shit like that, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I do like Terrifier though. I love those movies.
Because they were filmed like in Austin.
Yes. Yeah. I remember seeing it at like somebody, like a house party in 2019. I was like, what is this? It seemed like so like grindhousey and like low budget. I just loved it. I was like, man, this seems like they had like a lot of fun on set. And then part 2 was just I was like, this is just insane.
Have you seen the most recent one? I hear it's pretty
Part 3?
gory.
Oh, no, I haven't seen part 3. I was going to try to see it, I think, this Friday. Try to get some tickets. But I'm a huge fan of him. Just Art the Clown, the whole, like, his makeup looks wild as well.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Well, I was going to ask you, so, like, I know it's, like, notorious for, like, makeup to take a minute when it comes to like applying it, making sure it looks good on camera. What's been the longest session you've had before like a either a video shoot or a photo shoot that you were just like, damn, it's taking a minute?
So definitely communicating with the person that you're doing the makeup on and the director or the producer of the shoot. Definitely letting them know like, hey, this is gonna take a minute. Is always encouraged to do something big. With that being said, the biggest thing I've ever done, like that just took a really long time, was this full alien, like, look that I did with Jo for one of her shoots. It was, I inspired the look from Frieza.
From Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah,
That's incredible.
We put like a bald cap on my friend Elliot. Bald cap, ears. We had some like white lashes to put on them. It was really cool. They looked really cool.
That sounds interesting, though, for sure. Now, in a situation like that, would you be like, we have to start like 5 a.m. or we have to like start earlier just to see like before like they're ready to go on camera or anything like that?
So typically the artist or me, I would get there a little bit early to set up. Talent or the model would come in at like a certain call time. And yeah, just being like, this is probably going to take like 2 hours, and then giving that time
that
to
time
have them
frame
ready.
to everyone. I got you.
On those, like on shoots, you always want to use up the time accordingly so that you can get one in, one out, and have some time to like kind of clean up and get the next person
I
in.
bet you the cleanup is crazy. I didn't even think about that. Damn. Also, like, what's been like the most people you've had in like one session where like you finish someone's makeup and then another person comes in and then you finish theirs and like another person comes in like a single shoot?
I did a music video for Max Diaz in Houston.
Okay.
And it was his Mr. Manson shoot, and I had to make like 30 people look like cultists.
Cultists? Okay.
Yeah. Luckily, there was another artist on set, and they were helping me with that. But it was like boom, 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 just getting them looking really tired and sad
just kind of out of it.
Yeah.
The anxiety would kill me. Oh my God, to be honest. Because there's times where like because I do photography on the side as well. And like there's been times where like I didn't charge my batteries or like I'm missing a battery and I'm just kind of like, oh my God. And I'm just kind of turning off, like I'll take a couple photos and turn it off real quick, my camera, to kind of like maintain the like some like assurance that like I'm gonna be able to get through this like 2-hour photo shoot. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Have you ever had like, I won't say bad days, but like things go sideways where you're just kind of like, all right, I have to like improvise a little bit and like adapt?
So I'm just going to say this. Film sets, something always goes sideways.
Okay.
Every single time. I mean, you could have it planned for months and something will, you're just improvising. That's just kind of like the chaos of being in film. But I love it. And I think sometimes those the things you have to improvise you can even have a better idea than what you originally planned for.
Right. You kind of like, honestly, I take that a lot with different things as well. Like I'll have a general idea. Like I'm like, even like when it comes to reviews of things I want to talk about, and I'll like do like bullet points and be like, okay. But by the time I'm like filming myself, I'm not even like covering any of the things that I wrote down for like the week. I'm just kind of like, should I just kind of like veered off and like just kind of riffed for a little bit. But I don't know. Sometimes those, like you said, they come out better than the original plan, maybe. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. And what are your kind of aspirations going forward? Do you plan on like having your own like little studio, or what are your kind of goals going forward when it comes to your business?
That would be the goal, to have my own studio and to just make monsters for a living. That would be amazing. But I'm currently freelancing right now. While also working in film full time. To be able to do that would be the goal.
That's incredible. That's actually like really incredible. I've always wanted to go to film school and stuff like that, and just 'cause I'm a huge movie buff, to be honest with you. Yeah, I need to get back on it because I feel like the past, like after COVID or during COVID, I was totally just like not. I still had to work, so I was just kind of focused on like work and like not getting sick, and then like handling like other businesses. Basically, when I barely like first got into like photography professionally for the first time. I was gonna ask you, and I always ask my guests this, since we're in the kind of like post-COVID era, how was the pandemic for you, and like when it came to work, and also just like your personal life, how was that dealing with COVID and the kind of stress of like not knowing what was going on?
So I was still in school at the time. I was in college, and it completely changed things. I was going to school for film, but they were talking to us about all these production classes were going to be online, and I'm like, I don't want to do production classes online. Like, what's the point?
No, I feel
strip
you.
the whole thing. So I ended up going into like advertising and marketing for a little bit.
Okay.
And then once the pandemic was over, I was like, actually, this is useful information, but I don't want to do this. So I switched back to film, and that decision kind of landed me to where I am now.
I'm in a similar situation where, like, I know that, like, because I have plenty of friends who are also photographers, and they're like, yo, you should do, like, real estate photography or business photography, like, just, like, shooting people's places and stuff like that. And I was like, I could do that. I really should probably be doing that, but, like, I don't know, there's something about, like, when it comes to, like, shooting bands or just, like, street photography that I just, like, prefer, like, immensely.
Yeah.
Like, I know that, like, portraits are, like, and grad photos are, like, the moneymaker, but, like, I just have so much more creativity where I feel like with the portraits and stuff, I just have to, I know what they want, you know what I mean? I can't really edit it, like, as crazy as I want to. Do you ever feel that way, like, in your profession where you have to, like, kind of stay in a specific realm? You can't really veer off too much when it comes to applying makeup, or is creativity, like, kind of encouraged?
I would say because I do special effects, it's encouraged. I mean, if you go into a niche, I think that people know, like, what to hire you for. Like, oh, this person can do zombie makeup or character design, like, really well. And kind of being well-rounded, which is kind of like the area I'm in right now. Sometimes it can be kind of like well, she can do multiple things. She could do, like, the hair and the makeup and the SFX. We don't need to hire, like, just one person for this one thing. You could hire one person for 3 things, you know, which can also get you more jobs if you kind of spread yourself out a little bit more. If I'm making sense.
Yeah, no, you add, like, a little more diversity to your, like, I don't want to say your portfolio, but your just kind of business, like, mind, or kind of, like, your ability to do things, you know? No, that's crazy. Yeah, I've been trying to get a little more into, like, videography and stuff like that. It's just everything's so expensive, to be honest with you.
Industry is expensive. It is.
I don't even know, like, I was going to ask you, like, what website are you looking at to, like, get equipment for when it comes to, like, VFX effects and stuff like that?
So, again, it really just depends, like, what type of look the client is looking for. Like, that's what I'll base it on. I get a lot of my products from Mayron or Ben Nye.
Okay.
The MUA project in downtown Houston, I shop with them a lot. Amazon is always a good one to have
for sure,
because it's quick and it gets me what I need. But yeah, just Halloween stores. When it's October and Spirit Halloween is here, that's a good time to stock up on, like, fake blood and things like that. Yeah.
Is this the time, though? I was going to say, so, like, we're in October now, or I think we're October 6th. Is this going to be your busiest month, you reckon, or what do you think when it comes to work?
I do have a couple shoots coming up, but I will say the springtime, these past 2 years, have always been the busiest time of the year for me. And
really?
I've just done something I've noticed.
That's funny. Are the spring ones more like you said, weddings maybe, or events where you're just kind of doing someone's makeup, or are they also, like, visual effects?
It's mostly film shoots.
Really?
Yeah, like shorts and music videos. I did a lot of those this past spring. That was, like, a majority of my time, which is being on set.
What do you think? You think it's because of the weather, maybe, or?
I think so. Like, there's more time, more daylight outside. Like, the winter time, there's not as much sunlight, so it kind of cuts back on what you can do for, like, an exterior shoot, or if you're doing, like, something outdoors, that can kind of limit you, although it is cooler, so that, you know, it's just kind of like a checks and balances type of thing.
Are you familiar with the movie The Revenant with, like, DiCaprio and the bear and stuff like that? I don't know if you know this, but they totally filmed that with, like, natural light. Their entire movie was done with, like, natural light, so they were, like, they were up at, like, 4 and 3 in the morning just, like, shooting everything, and then kind of, like, seeing the light kind of, like, burn out, and they said, like, it took forever. But also, I think they were in Alaska or something. They were freezing.
Well, that makes sense because, like, their daylight is totally flipped.
It's different, right? That's crazy. I was gonna say, so you're in Houston currently. Would you ever see yourself moving maybe to, like, a place like Los Angeles or something like that, to whether it be for work or whether it be your personal life, or are you kind of cool in the Houston area?
I'm definitely open to travel. LA is one of those places where I would love to work there. I don't know if I'd want to live there.
I'm with you, yeah.
It's a little expensive, but
it is wild. Like visiting like 2 years ago, I was like, what is this? This is such a weird place. Like it's like we have that a little bit down here where like you'll see like a really nice house and then just like a house that's just like terrible. Like it's just like, what is this? And it seems like super out of place. But over there, it's just like, yeah, it's just a weird, strange place. That in like Portland, I was like, this is just a weird place to be in.
Yeah, I've heard about Portland. But yeah, just for work. I think I would do LA just for work.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever been to New York? I've never been to New York.
I have not. No.
See, that's the place where I would want to go to, but I'm so like deathly afraid of rats that I'm just kind of like I'm like super squeamish when it comes to that. So I'm just like, I don't know if I like would ever want to do that. You know what I mean?
That's city life. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like to live there, you know what I mean? Like, cause I mean, I guess you'd just be taking the subway and stuff like that, but I couldn't imagine driving over there at all. That seems like terrible.
I see like in bigger cities like LA, New York, public transportation is a big thing and like saving money. Mm-hmm. I mean, guarantee that like you're gonna deal with like probably 2 hours of traffic every single day.
For sure. Yeah, if you're just driving, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine parking, to be honest with you. That's one of the reasons why I don't like going downtown, because I'm just like, God, the parking here is just like not it.
It's like we think this is bad.
That's what I'm saying. I can only imagine like in like Los Angeles or something like that. Well, really, when we were there, we had rented a car and we were just like constantly paying for parking. Mm-hmm. Like everywhere we went, and I was like, this seems terrible. I don't know if I'd need like a bus pass or something like that from over here, because it was just like too much. Do you do a lot of traveling? Are you a big traveler?
I've been traveling a lot to Austin recently, just to work over there. San Antonio as well. Maybe Dallas soon, but mostly Austin. Mm-hmm. Austin and Houston are my cities right now.
Yeah, you don't need to go to Dallas. Don't go to Dallas.
I hear there's a lot of commercial work though, so I can't.
I actually hear it's really nice, to be honest with you. It's just like I always like troll Dallas because like I don't know, I guess because it's like the thing, you know what I mean? But I remember going there as a kid during like some hurricane we had here, and we were like, man, we got to go. We got to like pack up. And I was like, all right. I was like 7. And then we went, and I was like, there's like nothing to do. I don't know what is going on. Like we went to like the zoo for like half a day. And then I was just like, this seems like a terrible experience. And then as I got older, I started seeing the memes of just like Houston like disliking Dallas. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, I'll play into it a little bit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Do you have any like dream travel destinations, whether it be internationally or also just in the States?
Like for work or just in general?
I was gonna say just in general, yeah.
I've always wanted to go to Japan, like Tokyo.
That seems crazy, yeah.
To go travel over there, visit like the spots that inspired Studio Ghibli movies. Ooh. And go to like Tokyo. Definitely go try like local food. Things like that.
You want to know? I've never seen any of those movies.
No?
I started. I think I started Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
And like I just had to like ended up like getting caught up, so I had to like leave. And I was like, yeah, it's a really good movie, but just wasn't paying attention because I had to go somewhere. So I just haven't. I need to like deep dive into the films because they seem like really well done. Even like the last one they did, The Boy and the Heron, that looked crazy. I was like, oh my God. And the American cast looked wild. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had Robert Pattinson in it too.
Yes,
yeah.
I think Willem Dafoe is in there as well. I was like, this is nuts. Well, do you have a specific, like a favorite movie from that studio?
House Moving Castle. That one's my favorite. Yeah.
Oh my God, English or the Japanese dub?
I watched the dub.
The dub? I got you.
Yeah. I haven't seen too many. I will say this is like such a hot take, but they're a little like slow paced, and I think like they definitely resonate more with like younger audiences. So maybe if I had seen it at a younger age, I saw it when I was older. So like these are films at like an older age. So I haven't seen as many, but I do appreciate them. They're beautiful. All their films are beautiful.
Yeah, they definitely seem like just taking their time with everything. You know what I mean? Even when you said like even coming to the pace of the movie, it's just like it seems very like specific and very intentional to like go at that pace, and also the animation just seems like incredible. I was gonna ask you mentioned like liking old horror earlier. Where did that come from? Where did you like? At what age did you start like turning on the TV and just seeing like these like old school horror kind of movies?
My dad is a huge movie buff.
Okay.
So I mean, we would have all these movies on VHS, all these old horror films, and I was watching them at like maybe like 4 or 5 years old.
Okay.
Like putting these movies on, just like the old old Dracula, the Mummy,
the kind of universal like monsters, like Frankenstein and stuff like that.
Like those really classic movies. I've just always loved them.
There's something charming about them. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's something like you said. I don't know if it's the practical effects or what, but it just seems like, I don't know. They seem really charming. You know what I mean? Compared to like, I feel like whenever there's like a remake, they kind of veer off intentionally, and I'm just kind of like, you lost a little bit with like what the original one was. Why did Dracula stand out to you as like your favorite?
I just love vampires.
Yeah?
I've always loved vampires. I think that's what started it. Mm-hmm. But it was just like charming and classic and romantic, and I just really liked that and stuck with me.
Would that be your kind of favorite old school horror movie? Or?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Nice.
The original Dracula, 1940. Yeah.
You see, you mentioned vampires. My mind's going to Twilight. My mind's going to...
Hey, I mean, I was also a Twilight girly. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
You know what's funny? I wasn't, like, just growing up because I never got into it.
You weren't a Twilight girly?
I wasn't, yeah. But I remember seeing, like, dude, it was crazy. Like, especially here, like, the area that we're at, like, in middle school, everyone just had, like, Team Jake or like Jacob backpacks or Edward backpacks and like pencils and like erasers, everything. I was like, damn, it's like crazy. Like, I knew Harry Potter was big. I didn't know like about the Twilight thing. It wasn't until I was with my ex and she started showing me them, and I was like, these aren't bad at all. These are like all right, and the soundtracks are pretty hard. Not gonna lie to you. So I was just like, all right, this seems like a decent movie. You know which one I like, which I feel like people don't like, the one where they're kind of like they get married and they're just kind of like chilling the whole movie. They're on like vacation, like right before the last one. I really enjoyed that one. I don't know why.
It's Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Yes. I was like, man, this seems like it's like a slice of life almost, you know what I mean? Until like the events, like, till everything gets fucked up at the end. But I was like, for the most part, I was like, I enjoyed it. Just seeing them like be happy.
Breaking Dawn. I'm a Breaking Dawn Part 2 person because that's where they have the big fight. Spoiler, they get into a big fight.
Or did they?
Or do they?
That threw me completely for a loop, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was just like, what is this? I was hyped because I'm like, oh shit, this is like some thing. It reminded me of, like, are you like a Harry Potter person at all, or?
So I actually just watched almost all the movies recently, but growing up I was not really into Harry Potter.
I'm the same way. Yeah, I just barely watched them like 2019. And then like whenever like Voldemort pops up for the first time, the one that has like Robert Pattinson, I think it's the Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, this like the tone shifted, everything just got like real dark. And there's where I kind of like jumped on and I was like, wow, these are like really, really good movies. But yeah.
R.I.P. Cedric.
R.I.P. My friend had her wallpaper was like just a shitty resolution of like Robert Pattinson from that movie. Like after we watched it together, she just had it for like the longest time. Where like to the point where like I'd call her and I'd see her like screen just vibrate and it's just like a low res photo of like Robert Pattinson. I'm like, damn. I was sad though. I was like, oh my god, I did not expect that at all. It really made like the stakes kind of come into it, you know? Well, I was gonna ask you, what about, because you mentioned you work for like, you've done music or you've done work with like bands and stuff like that. What kind of music were you listening to growing up in terms of just generally?
Growing up, I listened to a lot of old rock, thanks to my dad, old metal, pop music. Now
talking like Slayer back in the day, or like Metallica? Or?
Metallica, Judas Priest, Pantera, 3 Days Grace, Evanescence, things like that.
Has your taste changed? I love Green Day. Yeah. Green Day is like a favorite band of mine just because like, I don't know, growing up here I would listen to like a lot of like Spanish music obviously and like hip hop music, and it wasn't until like third grade my friend Jesse was like, have you heard Green Day, you know what's going on? And I was like, no, I don't know what that is. And he let me borrow the CD, and at the time my mom's car didn't have like a CD player, but I had it on, I forgot what station it was, but they started playing Green Day and I was like, bro, I was like freaking out. It was such like a moment where I was like, damn, I wish we had phones back then because I would have called them immediately. I was like, dude, I heard this song and I got really into them. Definitely a band on like my bucket list. I'd love to see them, even though like everyone's older and stuff like that. I'm older myself, but I don't know. This is a band that I'm like, I definitely need, like, I've spent so much time listening to them as like a youth that like I feel like obligated to like at least like show them some love and like buy some merch maybe and just have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. 2000s throwback.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. I would love to like live in that era. I'm not gonna, like the early 2000s. Because I feel like that time between like whenever the internet first started getting like more popular and stuff, it just seems so interesting to me. Like that kind of like 2000s to like 2009, 10ish period of life just seems like really interesting to me.
To be like the age I am now and to have a flip phone and like hang up on
Right?
somebody, just like
Damn.
done.
That's what I'm saying. Like that kind of the aesthetics as well was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then seeing bands that I enjoyed like their music now that I wasn't really into back then, like Arctic Monkeys or like the Strokes and stuff like that. But just seeing them like perform like back then would be crazy. Do you have an era you'd want to live in if you had to like time travel a bit?
An era I'd like to live in.
What do you reckon?
Like, sometimes I think about like medieval Europe.
Oh shit! Okay.
Just because, but then I'm like,
You're talking some Game of Thrones type, maybe.
oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
I am a big Game of Thrones fan.
Yes. Hell yeah, dude. How you feel about House of Dragons? What do you think?
So I really like season 1. Season 2, little slow,
shaky.
dragging a little. I'm just like, come on, I'm trying to see the.
It's because the pace on the first one was crazy, huh? The first season, the pace was like they were just moving. I was like, damn, this is gonna be like a 2-season show, maybe like max.
They were gonna give us what we wanted,
and then like they were like, all right,
let's just calm down a little.
The first one made some money. Let's slow it down a little bit and kind of. That's why I told my brother because we were just like, bro, there's gonna be a battle at the end, this and that, and then we were seeing like theories and stuff, and I hated myself because like after Game of Thrones, like I didn't hate the ending of the show, but I was like, I need a break because that was a lot. You know what I mean? Like it was that, and then tied into like Avengers Endgame, and I was just like, I'm spent on like these kind of fandom like things. So like I saw House of Dragons season 1, I was like, all right, they got me. I'm back in it. And then I'm over here trying to avoid spoilers and shit and doing all this stuff. And then the ending comes and I'm just kind of like, what? Like, I didn't hate the ending of season 2, but I was kind of like you said, it was kind of like it left a little bit to be desired. What do you think?
It was just like we started season 2 with and again, spoilers.
Yeah,
maybe,
it's gonna be a spoiler.
Maybe spoilers. There's the battle's coming. Get ready, and then we end with the battle's still coming. Get ready, and it's like, okay, yeah, we've been waiting like 8 episodes.
And the breaks in between is gonna be crazy. It's probably gonna be like 2 years before we get the next season.
Maybe, I don't know. After I finished season 2, I started Fire and Blood, the book.
Oh.
So I'm like, yeah, they got me, guys. They got me. They got me into the books. I'm like maybe like a quarter way into the book. I heard that they changed some things in House of Dragon that doesn't really follow. So some things are like the character dynamics are kind of strayed. I think that in House of Dragon there's very much like a good side and bad side. Now,
like a black and white kind of thing.
Yeah, when originally it wasn't supposed to be that way. Like in the Game of Thrones book, Fire and Blood, it's written by the Greens.
Oh.
From their perspective. Okay. And it still makes Rhaenyra and the Blacks look good because they are wrong for what they did. You know, if you watch the show.
It's from like a maester, no? Like a maester wrote it or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's written from their perspective, and they actually spoil what happens in Game of Thrones. If you remember.
Heard.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I've heard. Yeah, I've been watching like, I'm telling you, they got me. They totally got me. Like I was watching people's reaction like to each episode and stuff like that at work. And I'm like, they're like, they spoiled some of the like the ending to the show in
Game of Thrones, yeah.
And I was like, what? I was like, I completely forgot about that.
It's like one of the scenes where Joffrey and Marjorie are in the Septum or something. They're like talking about the history of the Targaryens, and they're they spoil there's major character death and all this stuff, and just like all these things about how it ends. And I'm like, wow. Rewatching Game of Thrones spoils House of Dragon.
Nah, for
interesting.
Sure. It's funny because my brother had just watched Game of Thrones. I barely got into him like recently. That and Dune have been like playing in this house like consistently. Like
nice.
He's just been all over it. So he's the type to like similar to me, but I don't know. There's part of me that just wants to like not know what's happening. But the wait's incredible. Like it's gonna be fucking 2 years. So I'm just kind of like I'm real tempted to just like read what's gonna happen. But he's very much the type to be just be like. He's just really into like knowing. He just has to know.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I feel him on that. Yeah, that's kind of how I was with it's an anime, but Attack on Titan. Mm-hmm. I remember during COVID, we were watching like they called it the final season like 3 times. It was like the final season part 1, and then a year went by, the final season part 2, and then like another year went by. I think it was part 2, and like the ending was just crazy, and it was like on a huge cliffhanger. And I immediately just like turned off the TV, drove to Barnes and Noble, picked up the last like couple books, nice. And just like left. I was like, I have to. Like, there's no way. Like, I just have to know. Which I think is special. There's something about those kind of shows and properties that like for them to like generate that kind of reaction is like, especially for me, because like I'm usually like, I'll get to it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just means a lot to me.
I've been meaning to finish it.
Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What season are you looking at?
So I watched Attack on Titan like when that first season came out, like 2015, and then they took forever to come out with the second one, like the second season.
I got lucky. I just binged everything, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I have to restart it from the beginning again, but they took too long, and I fell off, and I was just like. But I keep hearing, like, I think everyone except for, like, one person has said to watch it. So I hear.
Yes. Yeah, you should definitely watch it. It's, in terms of anime, is that in, like, I'd say, like, maybe, like, a Death Note or, like, pretty, like, top tier, like, when it comes to, like, anime?
Yeah.
Good story, good everything. There's, like, no filler at all. Just, like, straight story the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we mentioned the kind of Renaissance and, like, medieval time period. What kind of, like, draws you to that, do you think? Is it the aesthetics? Is it the...
I think it's the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Because just like the costuming and...
Everyone had so much swag back then.
Yeah.
Like on House of Dragons, they had so much...
What happened?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out what happened. Like, because in House of Dragons, they're swagged out. Like, I don't know if you watch the behind the scenes. They look crazy. Like, everyone's outfits looks like... You could just tell they're like royalty, you know, compared to like every other character on the show.
Like, I don't know. I think if I had perfectly bleached... platinum blonde hair like Daemon Targaryen, I would probably have a complex too.
No, for sure.
Know what I mean?
If I had green eyes, it's over. It's done. I'm just, you know.
They actually had purple eyes in the book.
Oh, yes. That's what it was.
So, but they felt that it would take people out of the story if there was just like these big purple contacts.
Just so like standing out, maybe.
Yeah, so they scrapped it. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they are incest babies.
Legit, yeah. I always have to remind myself, like, let me, like...
This is what happens when you're a product of incest.
Over and over and over again.
And, like, they kind of, like, bring it up in the books later on that, like, some of, like, the kids who were, like, marrying their sister, like, 3 generations of marrying your sibling, like, you end up having some
defects, some like complications
maybe. With the kids, and they do mention that in the books. I'm like curious if they'll mention that in the show.
I hope so. I hope they do mention that, because it is kind of a pivotal thing that I have to remind myself of. I'm just kind of like, these are like weird, you know what I mean? Because like I love seeing the fandom like just ignore that, like Matt Smith, you mentioned him earlier. I forgot his name. Matt Smith's character. Damon.
Yeah.
And Rhaenyra, and how like, oh my god, this is like a dream like couple. You know what I mean? Like, they're so fantastic.
It's that cousin love.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just kind of like, oof. I don't know. I'm just like, I thought he looked really cool with short hair, to be honest with you. In like the season 1, right?
Oh yes.
He looked cool. I was like, damn, he looked really, really nice, like with like short hair and just like on the battlefield, just doing work. I was like, it's a look, but I get the long hair.
Yeah.
My hair just like pops out though. I don't know if I could ever get my hair like that long to where it like just straightens out. Maybe.
What do
you think?
Yeah, I think you could.
Yeah.
Just like
just be like a year growing it straight, maybe, or like 8 months.
I think there's like chemical process that you could do to like make it straight. I mean, I would not recommend that. Damage your hair severely. But if you really want it,
to be completely honest, I've been tempted to like either dye it or get a new tattoo. Those are like my 2 like options I'm just kind of throwing out there. I'm like, I don't know if I should get a new tattoo. And I always also wanted to dye my hair like blonde or some shit like that. So I've been like real wishy-washy with like deciding on like what to do.
I mean,
what do you think? Give me your POV. What do you reckon?
With dyeing hair is an investment. especially like, well, see, like you have short hair.
My hair's
so
short right
you
now.
could
I just
dye
got a
it.
haircut.
You could grow it out. You could cut it. I think that's the thing with like guys when they dye their hair. Like it's so easy for y'all, but like this.
That's a commitment.
That's a commitment.
You're committed to, especially if you go to like a legit like it's literally an investment. It's like 200, 300 sometimes, you know.
Mm-hmm. I at one point had my hair completely blue, like long and blue.
Oh shit!
And it was a moment, but I don't know if I do it again.
How's the maintenance on that? Do you have to like? I know with blonde, it's like there's like the purple shampoo that you use to. Is there like something similar with that with the blonde or with the blue? Sorry.
Just toning it, or I guess like not toning, or just like recoloring. Mm-hmm. And then once the roots come in, just having to like bleach them and add color, and it's a whole thing.
Oof.
But it was fun. I mean, it was fun for the time. I had it in college,
okay.
But after that, I did some other colors, and now it's black.
Would you ever see yourself dyeing it anytime soon, or are you kind of like, I'm good with black for a little bit?
I have black box dye on my hair, so I will not be dyeing it anytime soon. I think my hairstylist would kill me.
Oh, I've been like, see, and I've also been tempted to just be like, let me just get like a box dye, like you said, because my hair's so short, it's not that long, especially after a haircut. But I'm like, I don't know. Part of me wants to go like to the legit route. Also, my cousin's a hairstylist, so I feel like I kind of like be doing it wrong if I just post it up with like.
See, like you've got the connections.
I got the connections. Yeah. I got the visible changes connection. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I should. I don't know. I've been real tempted though. Also, another tattoo seems pretty cool too. You know, for my birthday coming up. So I'm just kind of like.
Yeah, because that would be like a one-time. Like a one-time fee, mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And it's just there.
Unless you like touch it up in the future, but
I might. Low-key, I need to touch this one up. I got in like during COVID. It's like looking a little faded.
And what does?
Oh, this is like a Mac Miller tattoo. I don't know if you know who Mac Miller is at all.
Yeah.
But he had an album called Swimming and then Circles. Was it like his last one? Like after he passed, swimming in circles kind of thing.
Nice.
But yeah, do you have any tattoos at all?
No. I do not. I'm planning one maybe soon with my sister. I don't want to say it's a surprise. You know, you don't want to like put your ideas out there and then it not happen.
Someone might take it.
Yeah.
Someone might take it. No, I agree with you.
I think it's like if you have like a really good idea and you start like speaking on it before you do it, it's called something, but you get the satisfaction of like telling your idea instead of actually doing it, and then you just like don't do it. It's called something, but that's what I'm trying to avoid right now.
I got you.
So.
I've been real tempted to also do like, cause I'm always trying to think of like different videos to like do during the week. Like I do like music reviews sometimes, or I'll do like movie reviews, television show reviews. But like, I've also wanted to do like just me showcasing like my editing for photos. But I've also been like real like, I don't want no one to take what I do with my photos. And I don't know, I've been like real conflicted about that. Like if I do like a live stream of me like touching up someone's photos or like editing them completely. Like, would anyone take that? But then part of me is also like, I enjoy the Wild West aspect of like the internet, where like if someone takes my photo, I'm like, I wouldn't really like be that pressed about it. I feel like eventually it'll get back to myself. You know what I mean? Eventually I'll see it and be like, oh, I took that, and then maybe comment like, hey.
Yeah, and get your credit.
Yeah.
As long as you get your credit, I think that's the thing. Like when I first started out in film, that's like the thing they always promise you, like, hey, like we'll give you pizza and a credit, and I'm like, that's good enough for me. Starting out, as long as I get my credit,
you need the recognition.
Yeah,
for sure. No, you definitely need that. Damn, I was gonna say, I know that's like, cause I'm not really sure like how the whole, if there's like a union, no, in like Hollywood.
Yeah,
in terms of like people get like checks and shit like that. I know they were on strike recently, or that was a writer's strike, but
yeah, well, that like really affected everybody. Honestly, really? Yeah. I don't. From what I've heard, work in LA still hasn't like picked up to where it needs to be, which is crazy because it's LA. You know?
Yeah, no, that is crazy. You know, I noticed a lot of movies, or a lot of like studio companies, I should say, are like shooting in like Atlanta. I see a lot of. Yeah. I see a lot of like New Orleans, Louisiana kind of stuff. I don't know if it's cheaper to film there or what, but
yeah, I mean, honestly, yes, and I think that's why Houston and Austin are growing as well, because it's just so expensive to film in like LA and New York. I mean, New York is the most expensive city in the United States.
Crazy. Yeah, I've seen some like those videos of people going into apartments where I'm like, what is going on? What the fuck is like?
Just like the fees and the permits, and it just gets expensive. So filming in Houston or New Orleans, I can see that being like a big budget cut. You know what I mean? So
I heard that's one of the reasons why they filmed The Sopranos in New Jersey, and they set the story in New Jersey to avoid paying the expensive fees of shooting in New York.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, because there's like 1 or 2 episodes like each season where they travel there like for a meeting or something like that, but like it's very like minimal. Like you're seeing like in past like maybe the ferry or something like that, and it's just like that's it. Just to kind of avoid everything. I don't blame them. Like you said, it's super expensive over there.
Also, the Netflix headquarters, I believe, is in Atlanta.
Oh, really?
I think, yeah.
Damn. Oh, man. I think it's Atlanta as well, where, like, Tyler Perry has, like, a big studio over there. And, like, a lot of people use his studio for, like, I think Marvel's used it. And other, like, properties have used it just because, like, it's super cheap to film over there.
Yeah, Georgia's beautiful.
I've never been, man. I've always wanted to go.
It's, like... Georgia's like one of those places where you can really see like almost every season in like a good way. If it gets cold enough, you can see winter nicely. But I know like fall in Georgia was one of my favorite things about living there.
I don't know if you know this because it just happened recently, but did the hurricane pass through there at all? Do you know that? I know there's a big hurricane that went through like North Carolina and shit like that, but I'm pretty sure like some rainfall like ended up hitting like Georgia. Or Atlanta, maybe. Yeah,
I did see that. It hit that side of the East Coast of, like, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. I think South Carolina got hit pretty bad. But, I don't know. I have a coworker who just flew there to Atlanta for a wedding. Oh, okay. So, I mean, I guess it's okay. But, yeah, hope that everyone's okay.
No, for sure.
It looked bad.
Have you been in here? One of our trademarks is hurricanes and just wild weather in general here in Houston. How has it been for you dealing with that at all? Has there been any times where like you walk out with the sweater and then like an hour later you're like having to take the sweater off?
I mean, it gets to a point now where I have like a go bag with like shorts, a hoodie, sweatpants. It's just kind of like Texas has
the humidity is wild.
Yeah.
The humidity is crazy.
So you just never know. So I just take it all. I just take it all with me.
It's terrible for me. Like at work, because I work at a warehouse, my like regular 9 to 5, and in the morning it's so humid. Like literally just walking out the house to my car, I'm like, damn, I feel like just stickiness like all over me. It's just terrible. Which is like I said, whenever I went to LA, I was like, this is completely different. Look, this is like it's super dry over there, like really dry. When I was in San Francisco, it was like really dry and like. I remember I had like chapped lips. That's how dry it was. I was like, damn, I need to like get some chapstick and just like moisturize up. But it was so different from like here that I was like, damn, this is wild. I always wonder how like people who've come to different like come from different places, not relate but like deal with our weather, because it is bad. I mean, it's literally a meme.
Yeah, I mean, I've had friends who are from Vietnam. And they said that their family moved here because the weather conditions are the same, like in Houston and in like Vietnam. I'm like, that's crazy.
That is wild. Yeah, no, that is crazy.
I mean, I'm sure it's probably hotter, but
I heard in the Philippines it's like there's some humidity over there as well.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Oof.
Island, yeah.
That island life. I need to go to more islands, man. My friend Paul, shout out to Paul. He's in Korea right now, and he's always telling me to go to like Thailand and shit like that. He's like, man, it's really, really fun. He's like, it's just the weather is like crazy.
Monsoon weather.
Nah, for sure. And then I don't know if it was him or someone else. They were telling me that like, it was some kind of like not tropical storm, but like maybe like severe waves. The waves are just getting like really like crazy over there. At the time, they were doing like a tour guide or some shit like that. And homeboy was like, we have to go back. Like, we don't go back right now. We're fucked. We're gonna like. Ships like the boat's just gonna flip over, like we gotta go. And that there were some like drunk tourists being like, oh, we paid you to take us here, and they were like being real like Karens about it, and everyone had to look at him and just be like, dude, we're gonna die. Like, we gotta go. It just gotta have like a come to Jesus moment with them. We're like, bro, we'll pay you back. Like, we just have to get out of here because like the waves were like super super tall. He's like, I just gotta get out of there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you answer. So you mentioned like to like work in Los Angeles. Would you ever like just straight not move to Los Angeles but move to a different place other than that, like a Colorado or something like that, just to like settle down completely, or are you cool just
here? Like out of Houston. I've always.
What's the dream destination? What you think?
I want to end up somewhere that has a beach.
Yes, I agree with you. If I'm old, I want a beach. Yeah. Yeah. No, whenever I'm gray and stuff, I definitely want like just to wake up and like. There it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so typical, but I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it's typical for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't mind being like a basic bitch in that way because I just like would love it. You know what I'm saying? I would just like
Yeah.
love seeing the beach. It calms me. Even the sand calms me. Just walking on the sand, super relaxing.
It just reminds me of, I guess, Florida home.
Okay,
My roots.
not for sure.
Or like Oregon or Washington, you know, living up there.
Seattle's pretty cool. Yeah, when we went, like I said, when we went to LA, we rented a car and we went from like Phoenix to LA to Oregon to Seattle. And the whole trip was like really, really pretty. Like just driving up there, I was like, wow, this is incredible.
What was that trip for?
We were just doing it.
Just for fun?
Yeah.
That's
No,
nice. That was cool.
my friend Paul was he was staying in, I think Phoenix at the time because he's like a military guy. So he was I don't know, stationed in Phoenix, but he was just working over there. And he's like, man, I'm totally moving to Korea like within like a year. We should definitely like take advantage like while I'm here. So me and my friend Josh, we flew to like from Houston to Phoenix, and then he picked us up in like a rental, and then we just took turns driving like all up the West Coast. Nice. It was really fun. It was really, really fun.
I like Phoenix. I went there last summer to work on a film, and it was really cool.
Mm-hmm. The aesthetics are crazy. It just looks like completely different than what I'm used to.
Just desert.
It's just desert.
But Arizona is like one of those places where they have so many different, like, I guess, like biomes. Like there's mountains and there's forests, a desert. It was cool.
Have you been to it's funny because there was like a fight that happened yesterday. They're in Utah. Have you ever been to Utah at all? Mm-mm. Super pretty. Yeah, I almost died there, but it was really like...
Oh?
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so we went... we also did like another kind of round trip. We went to like Colorado. Then we went to like, I think Colorado, Utah, Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho. We just kind of hit those like just driving around. And we were like, we should totally hike the like arches that they have in Utah. There's like big ass rocks that are just kind of like there. And we had to drive up to it, which I should have knew it was like a bad idea because I was like, what the fuck? Why are we driving like up to like a hike? It seems wild. So we drive up for a minute and then we get there. And we, me and my friend Fernanda, we ingested like a lot of like edibles. and we were like, all right, man, like we're gonna do this hike. It should take us like 30 minutes to go up and 30 minutes to come back. And we were all like psyched up. Then as we're walking, we're passing this big ass sign that's like, you shouldn't hike at this time. Because the elevation was crazy. We were super high up. And it was like, don't hike from like 2 to 5 p.m. because it's super hot out. And then it was like 2:30 when we were hiking. And it was like, make sure you have like a liter of water to each person. And we all had like one of these to each person.
Oh, God.
And we were just like we just like ignored every rule unintentionally. And then like about halfway up, I was just kind of like, I sat down. And I was like, dude, I feel fucked. I don't feel like really good. And he's like, oh, what you think, man? You want to head back? And I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. Like I was super out of it. So like I just sat down for like a good like 10, 15 minutes. And then we ended up finishing the hike, and it was super nice, like looking at the view. And then coming back, I felt pretty good. But my friend Brittany was like going through it. Like she was like, we had to like carry her. She was like walking down, but like not limping, but it's kind of like really like loosey goosey, like cramping up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty bad, but
Yikes.
It was nice. It was a nice hike.
I'm glad y'all had a good time.
Looking back, I was like, all right, it's pretty funny. But in the moment, I was like, dude, and we have no signal. There's nothing. It's like SOS just on my phone. And I'm like, what? I don't know if I should be doing this, but I don't know. It's one of those things where like looking back on it, I take like, it's funny. You know, I take humor in it. But in the moment, I was like, if I die here, I'm going to be so disappointed in myself. Like, I do not want to die in Utah, like, at all.
Yeah, no, I would not.
Especially because we were passing by. We didn't even want to, like, we didn't even get a hotel there. We were literally just passing by to, like, on the, like, destination we were going to.
That is so dangerous.
It was super dangerous. And also, like, once you get up there, there's no rails, nothing. Like, you could literally just, like, looking over, I was like, pretty dangerous. But it's funny because, like, we saw couples with, like, children on their shoulders just doing the hike. Like everyday stuff, so I was like, damn, I don't know if they're like locals or what, but I felt like a child was up there, to be honest with you.
I just think about the guy. It was like one of those things where you're like going out of town and then your mom sends you something that they found on Facebook. Like, I saw this person died doing this. Oh my God.
My mom's notorious for that.
You need to not do that because, I don't know, no one knew where he was.
My mom will just she'll tell me like where, because every once in a while she lives close to me, so I'll visit her after work. And she drives my brother to work, so I kind of pick him up sometimes. And she'll hit me up with like, you know, there was a murder or a child got stabbed, so and so, and like she'll give me like a bunch of details. I'm like, where's this at? What happened? And she's like, oh, that happened in like Florida, or that happened in like Minnesota or some shit like that. I'm just kind of like, why are you telling me this?
It's valid, but it's like, you know.
It always ends with me giving her that face. I'm like, why are you like,
I appreciate
trying to scare me almost, you know what I mean?
We appreciate our moms. But
she's like, you need to be careful. She's like, make sure just be safe. And I'm like, I will. I don't know what you want me to do to like, I don't know how that correlates with me here in Houston, like to something happen in like Miami or something. But I was like, I don't know, I guess. But she's like super like protective that way, which is funny.
This story was like this guy, I don't know, he got off work or something and decided to go somewhere, and he fell into like a hole, like a construction hole.
Oh shit.
And it was like snowing, and it like was covering the roads, and
Damn.
like he just was thinking like, I haven't told anybody where I am. No one knows where I am. They think I'm going here. And then like a deer fell in the hole with him. And
God damn, a deer?
Yeah. And like the deer like started freaking out, and like it did something and like kicked a hole and like found a way out. But I mean, and he got out, okay. But it's like those situations where you don't tell anybody where you are, and like you have no signal.
See, and that sounds cool in your head. Like in my head, it sounds kind of cool. Like, what if I just disappear for a little bit? You know what I'm saying? If I take a weekend and I just go like somewhere, but then like you said, like on the off chance like it just goes like not correctly, you're fucked. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like you're in a rock and a hard place, it's literally.
Like,
sometimes
no one knows where you are, and you have no signal.
That shit's scary.
Yeah.
That shit's scary.
He's blessed. That guy's blessed.
Nah, for real. Nah. Do you remember the James Franco movie where he like fell and then he had to like cut his arm off because he was like in a rock or some shit like that? He was like riding a bike, I think. It's called like 48 Hours, I think, or some shit like that. 127 hours, I think.
Is that the one where he's like a rock wall climber?
Yes.
Is it that one? Is it him? I don't know. I saw something very similar.
But he ended up having to like, I think he fell down like a crack or something like that, and then his arm got wedged in between like a rock. And he was just there for like a couple of days, and again like SOS signal, like nothing. And he ended up having to like chop his arm off or chop like his forearm off, and then like climb up somehow.
Jeez.
It's not good. It's not it. Are you a big like outdoorsy kind of person?
I know I am.
Yeah?
Like I was, and then I wasn't, and now I am again.
Okay.
I got into like rock wall climbing when I was in college, so I do that sometimes on weekends. And the job I currently have full time, we're outside all the time. Just like I'm a production assistant for a media company in Houston, and we're always building sets, making props, breaking down stuff, doing the cleanup for that. We're just always outside. So I get my outside time. Okay.
You get the sun. You get your time in the sun for sure.
Get my vitamin D.
We were talking about being outside. What about like mosquitoes and stuff like that? Dealing with things of the elements like on the outside. Is that a big problem? Like when you guys are working outside for your job?
I mean, I wouldn't say bugs, but I'm very fair complected, so I burn a lot. You
gotta get the sunblock.
Yeah, this like a couple months ago, I was on an outdoor shoot, and it was a cloudy day, and I forgot to wear sunscreen. And if you didn't know, like cloudy days are probably the worst day to get burned outside because the clouds are filtering all the good UV rays, and I got sun poisoning.
No, what does that mean?
It was like my skin was so burnt, it was like charred, that like I had blisters all over my arms.
Oh my God.
Just from being outside, like maybe for like an hour or two.
Jesus Christ.
But I was burned really bad. Like I burned like my arm and my shoulders, my back, like the top of my head, my lips. Like
what is the treatment for that? Is it just like aloe vera lotions and stuff like that, or?
I had to like. I went to the clinic and I got this like, I don't know, ointment for it. I like ordered some from like France or something. It helped a lot, but aloe vera like burned too. Oh. It was just so bad. I was out of work for a week. I think they were telling me if I had stayed in the sun any longer, I probably would have been hospitalized. But it's no joke. I mean, that's how you get skin cancer.
Nah, dude, I remember my
especially when you look like me, like you can get bad.
I remember my teacher in 8th grade. And looking back on it, we were kind of like, not me, but like the class in general was just disruptive. And like, I don't know if it was to get us back or what, but we had like a field day the next day where we're just gonna be outside the whole time. And she's like, I'm gonna show you guys, I'm gonna educate you on the dangers of skin cancer, or the dangers of the sun, some shit like that. And I was like halfway paying attention. She proceeds to show us this like 30 to 40 minute documentary of just like aggressive like cases of skin cancer, just like brutal, like fucking nose missing and shit like that. I was like, whoa. And then next day she's like, so make sure you wear sunblock tomorrow, just to like troll us. And I was terrified. I was like, oh my God.
She's not kidding. I mean, I couldn't even like lift my arms up. And it hurt to take a shower. It hurt to put a shirt on.
How was it with, like, with clothing and stuff like that?
Bad. Just so bad. Like, I had to, like, put, like, wet washcloths with, like, I was trying all these remedies. Like, there was, like, put vinegar and something on, like, washcloth. And it helped, but, I mean, just everything hurt for days.
When did it come, like, let's say you come back inside. At what point did you start realizing, like, holy shit, like, this is, like, not looking good?
So, I was on, that shoot, that was, like, crazy days. So, I had, like, that shoot in the daytime. Mm-hmm. And I was only hired for a half day. So, it was, like, 6 hours. And then I had another shoot that night for like a full demon SFX look. Like, okay. Prosthetic. It was going to take like 2 or 3 hours. So I'm like on the first shoot, and it's just like some simple. It was like a medieval web series, The Sword of Eliantis, which
Shout
is
out.
On Facebook. Tubi, YouTube, yeah.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun working with them. I really enjoyed working with them. But yeah, I got burned, and I was in my car, and I was like, I know I got burned, but this hurts really bad. And I still have to drive to my other gig. So I'm driving, and I feel like I have a fever, like I feel sick. So I'm like, okay, but I have to go. So I go to this other gig, and I'm like, I'm in so much pain, but I don't want to like show it or say. I'm just like, let me just do my thing. And the look came out really well. The second look was for Supernatural Squad of Badasses Part 2.
Okay.
Which comes out next week.
It's a mouthful. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, you said it drops next week.
Yeah, drops next week on YouTube for anyone to see.
Be on the lookout.
And I did the villain's makeup for that, and working with the talent was really cool. The crew was really nice as well. Both of those, like, the crews were really nice. That was a fun day. Besides being in a ton of pain, it was fun. But
did you just leave right after you were done applying the makeup? Like, I gotta go.
Like, well, I applied it. I stayed on for touch-ups, did the removal, went home, and I like looked at myself, and I was just like, this looks really bad. And then the next day it was just pain, and I had to like call out of work for a week. I'm like, I cannot. I went to the doctor, and I'm like, am I like making this a bigger deal than it is? She's like, no, you have sun poisoning. You have sun poisoning.
I was trying to remember the name. You said sun poisoning. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was so bad.
Shout out to you for finishing your thing though, your obligations.
Yeah.
You're a soldier for sure.
To be honest, I mean, we had been preparing that look for so long. Like, I cannot call out of this, and I really wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. So I say it was worth it.
Hell yeah, dude.
But wear your sunscreen. It's not a joke.
Whenever, I forgot what it was. I don't know if it was a hurricane or we had like some windstorm here recently. My dad, like, his fence got fucked up, so he's like, yo, can you come and like help out? And I went like completely dressed like not correctly. Like, I didn't have jeans. I had like some sneakers on, and I pull up and everyone has like long sleeves, a hat like with a bandana to cover their neck, and like super prepared shades. And I come there like literally just dressed like this, just with sneakers on. And he's like, man, you're not worried about like the sun or anything like that? I'm like, what you mean? And I was like, it looks pretty cloudy. I was like, I thought it was gonna rain. He's like, I don't know. I was like, he's like, I don't know. You should probably like, I might have sunscreen if you want it. I'm like, nah, let's just like take care of this. So on my way home, like you said, I just felt like my shoulders usually get burned too. It's like my neck and my face. I could feel it on my face when I like would smile or like be expressive. I just felt like so like strained, and I was like, damn it. And then the next day for work, I looked and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely like a shade darker for sure. I just had like a little Donald Trump tang going on, and I was like, this is not it, like, at all. Yeah, nah. Oof.
Hey, at least you tan. I don't tan.
So you don't tan at all then?
Not, I mean, like,
your
so
arms
I have
a little,
like my farmer tan from work. Like
I'm right there with you for sure.
But no, I just get red and then I go back and then I get freckles and that's it.
Would you ever have you ever, I was gonna say, have you ever been like, let me go in like a tanning bed, let me go in put on like bronzer or something like that? Is that a thing?
I mean, yeah, I mean, they don't recommend it. It's not good for your skin. I've done self tanners before, but I'm accepting the fact that I'm not gonna ever look like that naturally. So yeah, here I am.
Hey, I'm a fan. You look fantastic. Yeah, no, definitely not. Hopefully,
thank you.
Just stay out of the sun, please.
Yeah.
That sounded terrible.
Please stay out of the sun. No, I've learned that lesson, unfortunately.
Oh my God, you sun poisoning. Oof. Yeah, that sounds terrible. Like I mentioned earlier, really the only thing that like burns on me is like sometimes my face, but really my shoulders. If I'm like at a beach and I'm like shirtless, like in the pool or something, just my shoulders. I don't know if I have like wide shoulders or what, but damn. Like taking a shower like after, I'm just kind of like, I feel it already. Like I usually take cold showers just because like it does not feel pleasant. No, that's scary. Life is scary, man. Hey, there's some crazy stuff out there. Some crazy elements we have to deal with maneuvering through this life.
Especially like on set, just being careful. If it's exterior, wear your sunscreen, please.
Do you have a preference of like interior shoots or exterior shoots?
I mean, I like both. Interiors, you definitely won't get burned. But
not for sure.
I don't mind exterior shoots because then you get to see some pretty cool locations.
I agree with you. Yeah, I kind of prefer, especially like with the lens that I have for photos. I feel like it shines better in like exterior stuff. Where like we were at a hotel recently with this band. Shout out to Centillion. And I took some photos for them, and the aesthetics were crazy, but I was so worried about like lighting, and I was so worried about like this shit like not coming out well, or like too much noise in the photos. You know what I mean? That like I don't have to worry about that. The only thing I have to worry about is like photos being overexposed in like the sunlight. But through editing, I can kind of like take care of that for the most part. Oh man, before we get out of here, I want to ask you, do you have your top 5 horror movies at all?
Top 5 horror
I was going to
movies.
mention this earlier through text, but I was like, I wonder if I could ask her just on air to see like if she has like a top 5 ready.
Top 5 horror movies, I would have to say probably the original Saw would be number 1.
Okay.
That was my favorite horror movie for a long time.
Super original as well. For the time, super original.
And just like the stories after, I just love the whole like Saw saga. It's just one of my favorites personally.
I still think 1 through 3 are pretty solid. Like just as that trilogy alone is like really pretty solid.
Or the most recent one they did, I think like it was Saw X or something. I did see that one in theaters.
I didn't see that one. You enjoyed it?
And it like they all like correlated back to like the first movie.
Interesting.
Which I appreciate. I like that.
No, the first one's really good. So that'll be 1, and then the next one would be
probably Dracula, the original.
The original.
The original Dracula. Maybe one of Ari Aster's films. As much as I want to put Hereditary on there, I've seen Hereditary once, and I think I'm good. After seeing it once, I'm like, I don't need to see it again.
There's some movies like that where you just see them once, and you're like, I recognize this is like a good movie, and like I don't need to I don't want to like live through that again.
Yeah, no. Oof. So, okay, let's put it on there. 3, Hereditary.
There you go. A little modern pick.
Yeah, something like that. Number 4, let me think. Maybe The Bride of Frankenstein, the old one.
Okay.
I'll put that one on there too. And Would You Rather. It's a Netflix original.
Okay.
I've seen that movie like a million times. I love it.
Would You Rather, eh?
Would You Rather.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many good ones. Like I want to put Trick or Treat on there too.
Yeah, for sure. If you have like honorable mentions, for sure, you could read them off. Definitely.
Honorable mention: Trick or Treat. The Craft.
The Craft.
The Craft. That's a good one. Jennifer's Body. Creep. Also another Netflix original.
Creep, okay.
Yeah, some of those like cult classic psychological horrors. Yeah.
I was gonna say, are those the ones that kind of like you gravitate to more a little bit, like the kind of psychological, the I heard a term recently. It was called like elevated horror or some shit like that, where like the kind of ones that make you think a little bit more.
Yeah, no, definitely. When it has like a good story. Like I heard someone on a set I worked on recently. It was a horror film. They say like working on horror films is like cake. They're super fun, but they don't really like mean anything. And I'm like, yes and no, because when you have a horror with like a good story, like those are the ones that
stick out for sure.
Yeah,
Hereditary was like one of those. I was like, wow, this is just wild. That and like Midsummer. I don't know if Midsummer will be a horror movie though. What do you think?
I think so. Yeah. Especially with like some of the stuff they did to the other people that came on the trip.
That was pretty crazy.
But yeah. I mean, I love a good slasher film, but the ones that have like those deeper meanings but use horror elements, I love those probably the most.
I agree with you. Well, shit, man. Do you want to give out any social media links? Anything, anywhere people could reach you at?
Yeah. It's going to be at abnormal.mua on Instagram, Facebook. I have my website, abnormal.mua.com. Yeah, find me on there. I will be there. Reach out to me if you want some monster makeup.
I didn't say, are you accepting inquiries right now?
Yeah, of course.
Hell
all
yeah.
the time.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode of A Thinking Boy Podcast. I've been your host, Cesar Perez, with
Abnormal MUA.
Till next time. Peace. Oh, yeah, dude. I think we did like an hour.